Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the June edition of the Cannon County Chamber Connection. And this is made possible by My DTC3. I have the worst time saying that. My DTC3. If you don't have it, you should have it, because you'll throw away that dish and you won't have to have it out in your yard. And hey, runs in on your phone line, you're going to love it. I'm minus my old co-host today. Bless her heart, she's having to travel. I know she's just hating every moment of it. But I have a good replacement. I have Mr. Keith Reddy with WBRY.
Good to be here today.
Well, good. I'm glad everybody's happy to be here. I want smiles. Everybody needs to smile. This is a good thing. But we have another guest that will be here shortly, so we're going to mix up our agenda a little bit here. And one of our guests is Neil Applebaum. And Neil he wears a lot of different hats. He's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. He's also a realtor with Reed Realty. He is a community advisor, and plus he is the president of the Stones River Watershed Association. Is there anything else, Neil, that I've left out?
I think that's enough. And I wash dishes.
Oh, okay.
He
does, hey, that's not
I've
bad.
got a stack of them. Would you like to wash some of mine?
You cooked dinner.
Okay, you just give me a business card. I'll call you. We'll make an appointment right away, I promise.
Well, I did mine this morning, so what can I say?
Neil's without a job now. Thanks.
He is. Neil, I can't tell you how important you probably are to this community, really, as far as for how you've helped with grants, and you've worked on this project, this Headwaters Wildlife Management Area, for how many years now?
5.5 years.
You want to kind of explain to people exactly what this is and what you've done?
Here's the long version quickly. Jeff Young and Morris Roller were arrested federally almost 6 years ago, and they had accumulated a lot of land. And when they were arrested, and I had heard that that was the case, I asked Mike Gannon, as the county executive, if, in the event that they are convicted and there's all this land involved, we should maybe know what that land is, and if there's any way for us to keep it as open space, or just know what it is that is likely to potentially be auctioned off, subdivided, and Jeff and Morris owned a lot of property in some really underdeveloped parts of Cannon County. It seemed we should maybe get ahead of this thing, depending on not knowing where it was going to go. We wanted to try to preempt a bad outcome for the county.
And of course, this area that you're talking about is in one of the prettiest spots in Tennessee. And I will say Short Mountain is. I have no doubt about it.
If you're from Cannon County, it's the highest point in Middle Tennessee, and on a clear day like today, you can see Nashville, and you can see the Cumberlands off to the east. So it's a not being from here, I got really lucky, landing here, and I've just tried to work to keep the place beautiful for a long time for all of us.
Okay, now this went from your idea, and with everything that accumulated after that, you had to pull a lot of entities together that usually, this is not always the case, that they don't always play nice.
Well, having never been through this before, and you probably find out from everyone involved at this point that no one had been through this before, either on really the federal side or the state side, at this scale anyway. And this state has never run into a deal like this before, so no one in Tennessee knew how to get through this. The feds across the country, I guess they've done 4 deals like this in 15 years, but maybe not of this magnitude. So I went first to a friend at the Tennessee Parks and Greenways Foundation and said, this is what I think we have, where do we even begin? And we had a really warm reception at the Wildlife Resource Agency. Director Gary Myers had been in that job for 35 years and had done a lot of land preservation work, but here was a situation that we had a trial that hadn't even started yet, and we knew that we had our own kind of position that we wanted to take on it. So while Director Myers said, yes, we agree with this as a potential outcome, we're not going to get involved in a trial. So that was the easiest meeting, really, in all of this, was just like finding out that this was a worthwhile thing, potentially. But ultimately, there were 5 policing agencies, federal, state, and local. 2 different counties were involved. two different state agencies, a Wildlife Resource Agency and the Department of Environment and Conservation. Other not-for-profits, private donors were needed at various times, and then the federal government at various layers, and lots of lawyers. Everyone had lawyers to get through the situation.
What was the result of this 5 years' worth of work? What are we looking at now?
We have 1,000 acres. Every last acre that Jeff Young and Morris Roller forfeited during their trial, it now belongs to really the people of Tennessee. It belongs to the state. And the way the deed restrictions are on this property, there's both a federal restriction and a state restriction that really keeps anything from ever being developed here.
And it
So,
will be, right, no subdivision.
no subdivision, you can't really build on it. If it goes up for sale, it would be a very peculiar situation, but, it's conservation property in perpetuity as long as, everything holds together.
And what are the potential plans for this at this point?
I think the immediate first use is sort of an extension of the existing wildlife management area functions, so certainly hunting lands, but I think TBR is very committed to trying to work horseback riding, since we have lots of horseback riding in the area, so try to work that through. And then also hiking. We don't have public hiking lands in Cannon County, so while this isn't...
Great. We don't?
It's not a state park in name, it's a Wildlife Resource Agency, WMA, but they can sort of overlap those functions and uses.
And I think this is great. Instead of seeing that area subdivided.
It's an area that didn't have infrastructure. It's an area that was the farthest place from any school system, either going into DeKalb or into Cannon, and so putting housing out there just seemed like not the best use. This is a rare spot with rare...
Because probably a lot of it wouldn't perk.
Probably wouldn't perk, and where are you gonna, you're not gonna drill a well.
No,
No,
you're
not
not
out
gonna
there.
do that either. I just can't, this is like something that when I first heard about it, I didn't know all the details. I didn't know all of the different agencies that would be involved in this. But the more that came into it, I thought, no way, is this gonna happen?
There were many setbacks, and not with anyone being difficult, but just all the requirements. Everyone has a sort of a different job function, and there's a normal routine for, forfeiture of property. It gets sold. There's procedures for that. What was new for everyone was how to make this up on a one-time basis and get everyone to agree and make sure it all gets done right so that everyone's pleased with the outcome. And I think everyone's happy.
Who will be, okay, say you wanted to, who will be in charge of saying what goes where?
Definitely TWRA. It's
Okay.
their property to manage. That's in the deed, and we have a local TWRA agent, Mark Vance. He doesn't
Right.
get to make decisions, but he's certainly a great conduit back up to his bosses.
Oh, yeah, he's a lot of fun to interview too.
Mark's a great guy.
He does a good job.
One of
He
the most
really
active
does.
TWRA agents I've run into.
Right, I agree with you. Well, I don't know how to tell you how great I think this is, but you also have a dedication coming up.
Yes.
I do have
We don't
something
know
on that.
yet who's coming. I certainly know who's, the invitation was prepared by the state, and it's, an invitation from the governor, from TDEC, from TWRA, and the Department of General Services. And, I think we'll probably have a couple hundred people out for the dedication, and that's Wednesday, June 13th, just a week from this Wednesday. It starts at 10 a.m. The Parks and Greenways Foundation, which is a statewide not-for-profit, they're organizing lunch, and lunch is being provided by Whole Foods and also by the Blue Porch Restaurant here at the Arts Center.
That's great.
So it should be a really wonderful event. It's happening out by the Sassafras Barn, heading up to the Bible Camp. And after that, people who want to go up to see the view from the Bible Camp, that will be facilitated, and also a tour of the distillery. For a lot of the people who are coming to this event who have never been to Cannon County at all, it'll be a great opportunity to see conservation land, the view.
Signs?
There will be signs. The Parks and Greenways Foundation is very
So
good
if you
about...
come up 146, you're gonna see a sign telling you where.
Right, and it's
you go.
very possible we're going to be already setting up overflow parking and shuttles, just because, the dedication site's kind of restricted.
Okay,
in
and
scale.
also, where you view this from, the Bible camp, and of course, that's off limits, that will never be subdivided, I don't believe.
I don't think so at all.
But it's a great lookout point, if you want to see all of Short Mountain and for miles around. And of course, this will also involve DeKalb County to some degree.
To some degree, the Pea Ridge managed, while WMA is on both sides of the county, two different chunks of land. So there's certainly, they were very excited for this outcome. The DeKalb County executive weighed in very early about
So
this being.
they're certainly invited to this too,
Oh,
right?
TDEC's invited, really many people are invited. And it's really a question of not being invited, it's a question of RSVPing. We need to know that you're coming so we know how to deal with the numbers of people.
How can they RSVP as online?
Really, you should contact me and then I'll RSVP for you. So I don't know how you want to deal with that, but
Well, I have the phone number. You have it right here.
there is a TDBRA has a phone number or a contact person. So if you want to RSVP, contact D at 615-781-6502. 615-781-6502. It's definitely wear comfortable shoes and dress for being in a field.
Like I am right now.
You're dressed,
And I tell you what, I'll go ahead and
Y'all remember what that's
RSVP
like
as we're
sitting
sitting
in
right
the
here.
This is an
There you go.
informal dedication.
There we go.
Hopefully the governor will make it unless something more pressing shows up at the last minute.
Let's see, which,
So if nothing else, Cannon County made the front page of the Tennessean with good news, so I think
This is
that's.
good news.
That's,
and
I
that's
feel
a
great
great
about that.
article that's in there. It really is.
It's an article and a
That was,
little video, and you can see just a little bit of the property.
Okay, well, there's a lot of that property to see, isn't there?
1,000 acres.
And there's a lot of endangered species.
One of the
Actually,
reasons that, there was a wide variety of reasons why this happened, and just a couple of the small reasons are based on a salamander and a crayfish. I mean, those creatures exist only here. And when that situation comes up, it's easier for the federal government to say, okay, this is a long-term decision, and we can get behind this.
Okay, well, I agree, and I think that's great. And while you're there, now I gotta tell you, you're up on the mountain anyway, you might as well go over to the distillery and tour that, because that's right there and that's new. And there's probably not a prettier farm in Cannon County than the one that the distillery is located on. So, while you're there, you might as well tour everything you can in that area. And if you want more, you can come to town. Neil, you did a good job. You do a
It's-
good job on the things you get involved in, you do.
I'm grateful that the county executive said go for it.
Oh, I am too.
I don't think either one of us thought this was going to turn out this way, but he was like, do what you can.
No, and I didn't even know all of the entities involved, but when I did, I thought, oh, come on. This isn't gonna happen. It did, didn't it? I'll show you what I know.
Anything is possible. That's what this one showed me.
I think there was a movie made like that or something. Can't remember the name of it. Neil, we appreciate you being here. Great picture in the Tennessean, great article,
A little sideways.
doesn't matter.
But no,
You're on Short Mountain, so everything.
Maybe that's what it was. If the mountain was sideways and you're just
standing
right in the
crooked
center, I
there.
got you.
But we appreciate you being here, and I think this is very interesting. And we want everybody to come out to the dedication. We think that would be great if we have to have shuttles.
we'll deal with it. Yeah,
That's all right.
come out
We can
with-
always
with-
get mules and wagons if nothing
Hey, I
else.
got a new car. I can shuttle some people. I'm sure Carolyn can too, can't you?
Yes.
We can make this happen.
If they promise me they'll clean and vacuum my car before we go, I would be glad to.
What is this about dishes and cleaning today?
We just,
Just gotta get
we're
it.
just cleaning
I'm
today.
practical. Well, come on out and celebrate, and congratulations really to all of us for a
I
long
agree.
time.
I know this took a lot of work and a lot of years.
A few years off of my life, yes.
Yes, it did. I bet you took a big,
They were,
after that was,
I did nothing this weekend. I needed a break.
all right,
So-
this works.
Have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you. Okay, Tony.
All right.
Yours is equally important to the baseball players of this county because you are coaching the baseball and you are having a camp.
We are having a camp. We'll talk about that. But now the first thing, Carolyn, is you have a grandson, Josh.
I sure do.
I think he's a rising sophomore, former baseball player, hung up the cleats. So you want dishes and vacuuming done, then sometime between now and the spring, we'll have you responsible to get Josh to be a two-sport athlete and
no.
not just play basketball.
Well, I did mention that to him. In fact, it was last week, and I says, why don't you play? He goes, nope. He says, I gotta just do basketball and golf.
Yeah,
It's his
basketball.
other
He
love.
could be a three-sport athlete right here.
Yeah.
So we'll get through to him. eventually. But as far as the camp, now Josh is a little too old for that, but the camp, and the reason we started promoting it earlier this year is what I noticed the last 2 years when I would go over to do stuff for the Cannon Courier is the numbers were really, really low. 1 year there were 5 campers, 1 year there was 7. And in one, it's hard to conduct a camp with seven young people, for one thing. Two, I just didn't feel like it was promoted enough. There's lots of young people here that want to hone their skills and do better. So our camp will be June the 18th through the 21st. That's Monday through Thursday. It's from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And what I want to point out there is if you compare the cost of our camp to a similar baseball or basketball camp, either in Cannon County, local colleges, whatever it may be, it's going to be, you know, $150 or more for a lot of those. I think a lot of the basketball camps are in the neighborhood of 65 or 70 for a half a day. So it's not that we are, you know, being cheap or minimizing here what we're doing. It's that I want to get those numbers up. And so our campers this year are going to get a great value for $65. It is, like I said, all day. Lunch will be provided. They'll also receive a t-shirt as part of that fee. They will receive day-long instruction. In fact, day one will be all fundamentals starting at the beginning, and then we'll move from there with competitive games, skills competitions, things of this nature. And the idea that I really want to happen is that we can divide into 3 groups, ages 5 through 8, 9 through 12, and then our 13s and 14s together, so that we can have similar talent and skill level, and the young people can really get a lot out of it. But of course, for that to happen, you've got to have numbers. Pre-registration has gone very well to this point. You know, we will allow registration the day of, the morning of as well. So there's many ways you can get the flyer and get the information. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
One thing that I had asked you earlier today was that this is also open to people outside of Cannon County. You don't necessarily have to live in Cannon County.
No, you know, and obviously it's the Cannon County baseball camp, but if there's anyone here on the outskirts, you know, DeKalb County, Warren County, Rutherford County, we have a lot right here touching us where their baseball players may want to come and also get some additional instruction. The instructors will be coaches of the high school team, current players, and we'll also have former players coming in to help, 3 of which are at Cumberland University right now.
I was going to say, we have some good former players.
We do, and these are, you know, Cannon County kids that have played baseball here, received scholarship offers to area colleges. So, you know, they have good skills and they've gained knowledge since they've left here that I'm just grateful they're willing to come back and share with our young people. And, you know, so I believe part of building, you know, our baseball here in our program is just offering these kind of opportunities and, you know, getting young people excited before they get to high school, you know,
Right.
kind of
Well,
thing.
this is not your first rodeo, you know, putting camps together, is it? I mean, you've done this quite a long time.
Yeah,
With other organizations.
I was fortunate in Murfreesboro when I dealt with a lot of travel ball and leagues up there to work with Coach Peterson at MTSU. In fact, a lot of what we'll do at our camp is patterned after that with the day-long thing. And, you know, the structure will be 50 minutes at a time as we go through the day to work on a specific thing, you know, and not leave that until we feel like we're really good at it, and then repeat that each day. You know, to have a lot of repetition and to make sure the young people leave there feeling like they gained something. And I believe a lot of the leagues right now are finishing, you know, so this is an opportunity for the players to still get some baseball in June before All-Stars and that kind of stuff.
Okay, when we're talking about kindergarten, is that T-ball age?
Yes.
Oh, well, you
And
have
actually, I'm
quite
glad-
an experience in for you.
I'm glad you asked that because we have had parents ask about 4-year-olds, even though it says K through 8. There are a lot of 4-year-olds that are already playing T-ball.
Right.
And if they want to come, we will gladly take them. But I said I was going to work with the younger ones and let the other ones have the older ones. And I'm thinking after watching Coach Rigsby and Dodgen's camp last week, I'm not going to be with the younger ones.
T-ball is an experience for anyone. I remember, well, I think it was Josh that played T-ball. And when Well, for one thing, when you hit the ball, nobody moved. Or if the ball landed out between the, the pitcher and first base, everybody ran. I
like
mean,
the
they
Piranhas.
came in from the
Yeah.
outfield to get this ball. You know, everybody's ganged up there in a pile. I loved it. It was one of my favorite years. to
Do you have a
watch.
good Josh story that you could tell him? Maybe he could hold over Josh's head when he's trying to recruit him back for the baseball team?
Maybe not.
I've
That's
heard
not
a
such a
few,
good
but
idea.
probably not for this show.
Well, yeah, that's true.
No, Josh was good. He was. He was. But now he also played t-ball, and he wasn't so wonderful then. They all have to learn,
That's right.
you know. But they're so fun to watch because everybody runs the bases when when they ran the bases. Everybody ran the bases.
It's like a school of fish again, you
Yeah.
know? Everybody goes to the ball, everybody runs the bases, that's
I
right.
love that. I do. I thought I used to laugh so hard. I thought they were so cute. But you know what? Sooner or later, they did learn how to hit that off of that tee.
That's right.
It took a
It's
while,
just,
but they
yeah,
learned.
practice and working. You know, another thing we'll do is we'll do awards, you know,
Yeah.
daily awards, and then we'll have a winner at the end of the week, you know, Campers of the Week. I think, you know, it's important for all of the youngsters to get something out of it and to leave feeling like it was a good experience no matter, you know, what it is they want to do down there. Some of these young people may never play past, you know, league down here, but it still needs to be a good experience. And then there are those that they want to compete to be the best. And so I'm hoping that this offers, you know, something for everyone.
It's all about the t-shirts.
That's
I can
right.
just tell you right
That's
now,
right.
it's all about the t-shirts.
And we need, you know, to have some of those around town, you know, that
Right.
young people are wearing. And I tell you, you can, these flyers are around town in different stores. You could also pick them up at the Cannon Courier. You can download the brochure on the Cannon Courier website, cannoncourier.com. And we've also run an ad there in the Cannon Courier. So there's plenty of ways to get it. My contact information is on the form, should anyone have any additional questions or anything like that.
We probably didn't introduce you exactly right, because you're also the photographer and you write many stories for the Cannon Courier.
Well, we may want to keep that quiet. You know,
I
that-
want to
that
tell
could
you,
hurt
this
things.
is a unique thing right here because, you know, we have three major medias in Cannon County, one of them being DTC, of course, and they're Channel 3 because they bring in a lot of communities, Carthage, DeKalb County, as well as Cannon County, and this wouldn't be possible without them. So they're a great resource as a media. Then also we have WBRY Radio, who is also a great media, more on the local. You can pick up the FM station, well, all the way to
I can
McMinnville.
pick
I
it
can
up in
pick it up.
Nashville from time to time if the weather's good.
Well,
If it's dark, then forget it, it's not gonna
if
happen.
it's not storming and you go
Yeah.
to Nashville, you can get. But anyway, he's great to work with us on things with the chamber. And you have the Cannon Courier, who is certainly community-minded. So we enjoy having these three areas of media to work with, and it makes it great. And I just want to congratulate you. You also are working on a tournament for the end of the month, right?
We are, and you know, I'm going to have a story in the Cannon Courier kind of explaining some of what this is at the toward the end of June. But since we have this opportunity, I'll go ahead and talk about it. What I'm really excited about for our high school age kids is that these players haven't had a lot of opportunity to play in the summer, you know, because after league ball down here by about 13 and up, you know, either you go play travel or get picked up or you don't play at all. And this summer, all of our players are playing. We've got a couple off playing with other travel teams, but the rest of them are all with us. We have a 16 and under team. We have an 18 and under team. And those guys have done really well and worked hard. Now, what we're doing is at the end of June, June 29th, 30th, and July 1st, we will actually be hosting what is called the Big League Tournament. It is under the Little League umbrella, but it's for ages 16 to 18 is what that is. And then on in Little League, our viewers in DeKalb would understand this. They're really big in Little League over there. So Little League goes to 12 and under, basically. And then your 13s and 14s are your junior league, your 15s and 16s are your senior league, and 16 to 18 is your big league. We have entered into the big league tournament, which we're going to get to host here in Woodbury at the Dixie Youth Complex. We will receive a first-round bye as the host team. Madison and McCabe, which is an area of Nashville, will be the other district teams. So those will be the 3 district teams. There'll be one game that Friday night at 7, which would be McCabe and Madison. We would play the winner of that game Saturday afternoon. If we win that game, we're in the championship. If we lose, we would have to win a couple to get back to that point. The winner of this tournament automatically advances to the state tournament, which will be in Granger County the following weekend. You can go right on to the regional in Fort Lauderdale. The World Series is in Easley. I believe that's North Carolina. And, all of that's paid for. It's all paid for through the Little League program. And what Carolyn, you and I talked about this, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out there so people won't be flabbergasted when they show up for the tournament. Cannon County is actually included in Rutherford County's Little League boundary. So what will happen is our league games the rest of this month will be Lions baseball like we have been all summer. But when we plan this tournament, we will actually be considered Murfreesboro American because that is the Little League charter. The closest one to us is DeKalb, and they do not offer senior league. I take that back, big league. So maybe in the future, we can even co-op Cannon County and DeKalb County. Shame on me for saying that in sports,
No.
maybe. But I think we can work together, to do something really good here. I know there are quality players in DeKalb that are on that high school team that would love this opportunity.
Right.
So my plan moving forward, this is a one-year deal. And then what I hope to do after this summer is that we will charter our own Little League program down here for ages 13 and up. I'm not getting into the 12 and under yet because we haven't really spoken with the people that make those decisions. But we can do 13 and up in Little League. And so from this summer on, our teenagers will have a chance to play during the summer. And I think that's a great thing. But there'll be some people who'll be wondering, why are we wearing Murfreesboro on our chest? The bigger thing is, as I try to teach our players, it's all about opportunity, and this charter enables our players to have an opportunity that we would not have otherwise had. So I'm grateful to the Optimist League in Murfreesboro for allowing us this opportunity. And then following this summer, we'll do something to make it all ours. But that'll be June 29th, 30th, and July 1st. And hopefully we can win a championship that weekend and be the first of many.
Now, you have people from Murfreesboro also playing on this team, or is this going to be strictly Cannon County?
It will be all Cannon County with the exception, we will pick up one player from Murfreesboro, and I'd had him a couple years before. He will primarily just pitch for us, and that'll just give us an extra arm. But all of our players, we will carry 14, and 13 of them are all from right here in Cannon County, including 3 that just graduated. Actually, one graduated last year, Colin Jones, and then we will also carry Brock Francis and Dustin Mears this year, and then everyone else is a returning line to next year's team.
All right.
Well,
That makes it good.
Yes, yeah, so at least the group you're watching out there, the majority of all those kids will be the guys that will play in the high school program next year.
And that's what it's all about, is trying to get these kids experience for your high school baseball program. And that's something that's not really been done here in Cannon County before.
Yeah, and we had a really good weekend here this past weekend in Sparta. We went 1-4, but we lost 3 one-run games, and we're right there with older teams, travel teams. And, I saw great progress, and that's what I tell our players. We all want to win, but at the end of the day, we got to ask ourselves, are we getting better? Are we making progress? And in that regard, I feel like this weekend was a huge step forward for our program.
Is your fall or summer league over, or is there more dates on the schedule?
Oh, yeah, and, we'll post these on the Courier. The older team schedule is kind of a work in progress. We have 15 scheduled all in the month of June. We also have 16 scheduled for the 16 and under, including one weekend tournament and a state tournament. And I'm coaching both of those, so I'm trying to figure out if I bit off more than I can chew, but,
Too late now, but
It is, just got to keep going now.
you got it.
That's it.
Well, if there's
Well-
anybody that can do it, you can.
Well, I
I
appreciate
just
it.
don't know what you're going to do with your free time. And just take
That's right. I'll come and I'll clean your dishes.
Put more
I told
articles in
you,
the
y'all are
papers,
gonna
probably
have
what
to
he'll
do
do.
something else. I've already done my dishes, so you're gonna have to promise.
You know, we
me
could
something
probably do
else.
that fundraising, you know, shop the kids out, let them come to houses and clean and.
They do that at the
Oh,
United Way, don't they,
listen.
the Boys and Girls
That's right.
Club? Yeah, they,
I
something.
done this for my
he's got a
grandkids,
great
and they were,
idea.
I just wanted them to scrape the fence that goes down my driveway so I could paint it. Well, good heavens, Josh came out there and he'd work 5 minutes and he'd go, is it time for our break yet? Don't we get a 10-minute break?
She can't
So
even
I
get her
thought,
grandchildren to work at home. How are you gonna get Josh to play baseball?
I could do much better if
That's
they
your
weren't
job now.
related.
But you know, with that face, I mean, if I were your grandson and you told me, I really would love to watch you play baseball, I would do it.
No, he'd
Just-
say,
just
no,
for
I'm
you."
playing golf and basketball and that's it.
We'll work on it.
Very definite.
We'll work on it. And then we'll get you working on it during the basketball broadcast.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why is this kid
He's
concentrating
got
on basketball?
more, he's got
really
more
not very
baseball
good.
talent than he
Yeah.
does basketball, you know?
We're just
Watch him
kidding.
play in the minor leagues.
We don't want Coach Rigsby mad.
No, you don't, no, you don't.
He might help you in the baseball camps too. He's got a
That's
baseball
true, yeah.
background.
He was an
Yes, he
all-district
does.
player,
Yeah,
Coach
sure
Rigsby.
was. Sure was.
At least that's what he says.
Yeah, well, he wasn't lying.
Okay.
He did pretty good.
Yes, he did.
He was pretty good in that. We thank you very much.
Thank you for allowing me
Thank you
to
for
come on
being
and do
here.
this. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and you, if there's anything else, you're free to let me know. I'll be glad to talk about it, or if you need to come back on again, we can do that too.
Oh, that-
Maybe between this camp and the or the tournament that you're working on, there might be a time in there where you'd want to
Sure, that'd be
talk
great.
about it. We have a lot of things that go on, and of course, one of the most active places in our community is the Senior Citizen Center, and like I say, Connie's traveling, so she couldn't be with us this month. But I just want to give you a small hint of what goes on at the Senior Center. If you think, I think that word senior is misleading. These people don't act like seniors. So there's a lot of things that go on. June will include Silver Sneakers, and that's a daily exercise class. They have bingo, they have computer classes, art classes, line dancing, and a Taste of Tennessee and Puerto Rico dance group will be there this month. Now, you may learn to do a little salsa.
Well, this
or
is
maybe some tango.
This is in regards to the International Folk Fest that comes in Murfreesboro. They bring a group out to the Senior Center every year, and looks like the dance group from Puerto Rico is going to be that.
Yes, and they're gonna get you out of your seat now. If you're
Yeah,
gonna
they
just
will.
go out there and stand around, don't think so. They also give crochet classes, Wii bowling. There's a nurse on duty once a week. You can go in if you're having a problem and talk with a nurse. There's Rook Club and more, and you can call the Senior Center at 563-5304, or you can stop by because their address is 609 Lehman Street in Woodbury. You may want to become a member of that. It's not a laid-back group, so you need to stop by, and Connie will be back in about a week. And I'm sure that there's people out there that could help you if you want to go tomorrow. So it's okay.
That Wii bowling thing looks interesting.
Yeah, I'd kind of like that. I did that with my grandson one time.
That's the only way I can bowl.
Well,
Just Wii
I
bowling.
almost beat him. He got a little tore up, but
Yeah. I granny bowl when I go to a bowling lane. It's pretty pathetic. And the gutters
What do you
and all
mean
that good
granny
stuff.
bowl?
That's what it is.
at
It's
one
granny.
time
Yeah,
I'd be,
just
oh, you don't
two
bowl
hands.
like that.
Not unless if I've got like a 15-pound ball or whatever. Yeah, that's what you do. And I can hit strikes with it most of the time. And if I change to a 9-pound bowling ball and then I bowl like regular, forget it. It's gutter every time.
Okay.
So I kind of like the Rick Barry of bowling. But Wii bowling, I can do that. That's cool stuff.
All you gotta do is move your hand.
Yeah. See, there's nothing to it.
I have a great couple of guys here. They're real active in our community too. We have Mr. Bruce Steelman, and he is our county agent, and he is also on the board of directors for the Woodbury Lions Club. And I also have his partner in crime over here, Heath Noakes. And Heath, you're with the Lions Club too. Are you a board member now?
Yes.
You are a former president. Are you not?
We'll be in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So-
I didn't know if your reign was
Looking
still
forward to,
going on.
to claiming that title.
Passing on the crown, huh?
That's right.
That's right. Well, one of the things, guys, that's a big draw to Cannon County, and I guess all counties have these, but they bring a lot of people in, and that's the farmer's market. And I know that there's been a delay of sort this year?
Yeah, the weather has just been devastating to us, just trying to get up and running. We had a late frost, a lot of the farmers that they got out early, they got all their vegetables up and going. They was expecting to get going on farmers market early, and then we had the late frost, and that set us back. We are up and running. We had Jerry and Carmen Smithson that was here just last Saturday. We've got Daryl Paseo. It's going to be on Saturdays we typically get started at 6, but we may not be up and rolling until 7, so don't climb out of bed too early. So at 7 o'clock we are up and rolling. We stay until 11, or if I happen to sell out early, there's really no reason for them to hang around. They just sort of duck on out. So the ideal thing is try to get here as early as you can, around 7, and get the first pick and the fresh pick. And then also on Tuesdays we're going to be here starting around 3 o'clock, and they'll hang around until 6 or until they run out of produce.
Well.
And Daryl Paseo is going to be here, and he's got vine ripe tomatoes and vine ripe cucumbers just right here out of Canyon
Golly,
County.
that's great.
And he's probably one of the more innovative farmers we've got here. They went more on the Granger County system, where they actually went in and planted the tomatoes in the ground and then sort of set the greenhouse around it.
Oh, okay.
So if you think about it, they had everything it needed, but it was actually, grown in the soil.
Right.
So, hand-picked, vine ripe, gorgeous looking tomatoes and cucumbers, and he's got the Burpless, he's got the slicing, he's got the English. The cucumbers are, if you like cucumbers, he's got you
I
put
do
anything
like
on your taste that you're wanting. And he'll be here on Tuesdays at 3. So make sure and drop by, because the more interest that we have on the farmers market, the more we're going to be able to get more farmers, more produce, more activity at the market.
Okay. And I know that there were plans to build a permanent. Is that still in the running, or is that
Still
on
in the
hold
running.
right now?
No, it was a great partnership with us and the farmers market and producers and the art center. Perfect location to have a farmers market right here. Plenty
Lots of
of parking. Safe. That was the number one attraction for us, because it just got to the point where it's a little bit of you was having to dodge cars coming around the square. So
Yeah,
it
you
just
do.
it's safe.
Well, the
here.
way they have to pull in, and a lot of them sell out of the backs of their vehicles and everything, and people want to drive right up and let you hand it through their window. And you're right, it's not real safe. I've seen that on many occasions.
And it's remarkable on how many folks do exactly what you're saying.
I know.
They'll drive up and.
I know.
And they say, you got Blue Lake beans today, and Harold or Carmen, or one of the many producers, will walk over to them and hand it to them. And it is sort of a neat little, they just sort of hang around and watch attractions. But the other thing was now we had a lot of families started coming to the market.
Right.
And
You have kids.
kids was, and all of us knows that, kids just, they're not totally, their head's not sitting there on a pivot where they're watching
Well,
for cars.
your square was used for other purposes because your courthouse is open on Saturday. And so there was other business being conducted,
Yeah.
and that makes a difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of the businesses and the restaurants, people park inside the square.
Right. Well, and like the Art Center has been a great partnership. We've got a bathroom here, and hopefully we applied for an RBEG grant, and we did receive that.
Well, good.
The county had forethought, the county commissioner had forethought to see the benefits of a farmer's market, and they have pledged $15,000. And so everything's in place. We're finishing up the notification period, so we'll be getting started with that hopefully very soon. And the other thing that we're fortunate here is we have folks like Daryl Fisher, and he'll be able to use the trustees from the jail and put it up where it's economically, where we can make it within our budget. So that's another.
I don't know how, Well, I know the chamber couldn't get by without Daryl Fisher and the inmate labor. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I'd rather have them out doing something that's just sitting in there if they've got to serve time, but they do a great job.
Yeah, we couldn't put up the structure if it wasn't for, you know, the advantages such as that. I mean, Daryl is a remarkable individual that has all kinds of talents.
He does, he really does.
And there are people sitting in jail helping out that's got talents too.
Yes, there is.
So we're fortunate, but again, every Saturday, we try to get started 6. We are here at 7. We expect to continue from this point on. This last Saturday, we had beets and cabbage and leaf lettuce and scallions. Trying to think if there's anything else. Ben Olson is going to start coming. He has a tremendous selection of leafy greens. You know, your mustard and your turnips, and he also has some turnips. We've got a pretty good selection starting out. So you know, put it on. You know, go ahead and sort of crawl out of bed on Saturdays. Come on down to Dart Center and get some locally grown farm fresh produce.
And go home and cook.
There you go.
There was a story out of Rutherford County a couple of weeks ago that Rutherford County was offering seniors, there was some kind of a program that offered seniors discounts on farmers market commodities. Is there any plans in Rutherford County?
As of yet, we haven't
Seen that.
got to that point yet. So our biggest need is a facility.
Yeah.
It just, and not only is this some protection of the produce, some protection of the shoppers. 'Cause
Right.
when it gets, you know, hot and muggy and the
Yeah.
sunbeams, it's tough.
Everybody looks wilted, is that what you're saying?
It's tough, you know, and tents can only do so much. So we get a facility, we'll be able, you know, we've got growing pains. The facility will give us the opportunity
Yes,
to
it
sort of to meet those growing pains.
What is the time frame of the facility being built?
As soon as the funds are in hand,
Okay.
since it's a pole barn structure, you know, because we're building a floodplain.
Right.
And to build it in a floodplain, you've got to have a structure where it does not impede the water in the event that it comes up to a flood level again. So in that, we're talking about a pole barn.
Right.
So it'll be, you know, some
But
poles
it'll
with a
be
roof
some
on it.
protection.
Very,
It will.
you know, yes, it's going to be plenty ample for what we're needing. And just think when the farmer's market isn't in place, the Art Center gives them another opportunity to have use to it, as long as with families and gatherings and stuff. So,
Right.
you know, the county needs, you know, little structures
Multiple
like
use
that.
facility.
But to answer your question, hopefully, you know, in the next 30 days, we'll be up and running with it.
Oh, well, good. That's pretty close. Well, the next thing, and one of the highlights that Cannon County has during the year, is the Lions Club award-winning one-night walking horse show. And of course, this year, that will be on Saturday, July 7th. We've won awards for this show for, I can't tell you how many years. Who knows?
Yeah, we were fortunate to have Clayton Glenn, a tremendous manager, a manager of the show manager of the one night show, and that has built the prestige of our show. And, you know, it's a favorite among a lot of the trainers out there. This year, we're going to have the 2011 World Grand Champion. It's going to be our flag horse, Grand Myrtle. It takes a special show to attract horses of that caliber and trainers of that caliber. And you know, and I really, you know, have to, you know, lay the homage to the past that set the foundation of the show we have now.
But still, to keep something like this going over the years, and of course Clayton was great at it, but of course he's not with us any longer, he's been gone for some years, but it's still doing well.
Oh, it's
And a
still-
lot of that has to do with the organization and the willingness of the Lions Club members and other people in the community. It's not just Lions Club members that will come out and help, because this is an event that takes a village.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, you've got a good point, because it wasn't for it's really a community show. I think that's what
It
you're
is,
getting at.
it
And
is.
if it wasn't for the volunteers and the members, there is no way that
No.
that show could continue and carry the prestige that the show has. And
Well, you look at our facility now, it has the seats, the box seats, just like it, well, maybe not just like it, Shelbyville, but similar. And of course, you also have bleachers, and I don't know how many years, you not only hear about the grade of the horses that come in, but you also hear about the country ham sandwiches that they have at the concession center too. So, you know, and there's a lot of specialty classes too. It's not just walking horses. They have specialty classes that people get to show off.
yeah,
They're right.
we're one of the only shows that has the laser driving, for instance.
Right.
Where they have the little, the one-seat carriage where the trainers ride, and that sort of puts us sort of different from the other shows. You're right.
But that's okay, because I remember going to Shelbyville and they would have carriage classes and everything, and I like everybody dressed up. I like that. I think that's good at a show, even if it's walking horses.
Yeah, we've cut a class or two. We're hoping that we'll finish up a little quicker, you know, a little bit
This is
earlier.
also an all-night affair, I
Yeah,
can
you
just
know,
tell you right now, but.
Yeah, the joke was, you know, if we go on past midnight, are we still a one-night show? So,
Well, that's just being picky. I just tell you right now.
Technically.
Well, I will tell you this, and like I say, everybody works somewhere, and some people that night work in a lot of they'll go to several different places, because you've got to have gatekeepers, you've got to have parking, you've got to have concession, you've got to have people that will line up the classes and make sure everything goes good there. In the last few years, I've worked in the pies and the ice cream. Now, don't think that I just sit over there and don't do anything, because that's not true. Do you know how many ice cream and how many pies people can go through at a horse show?
and that's true.
She eats the pie and the ice
No,
cream. That's
no.
what she does, yeah.
There's been times when I felt like I should, but no, I haven't, because the people donate, they bake and bring out stuff, and I do remember a couple of years ago, if you've brought something specifically for someone, don't just set it somewhere if it looks like a dessert, because somebody brought banana pudding. It was for the workers in the concession stand, but they came over there and set it on the table, and I thought, how in the world am I gonna serve banana pudding to these people? You know, I thought this was nice, but I don't know how I'm gonna serve it. Well, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. So I went up to the Lions Club building, and they had some little cups up there, so I just dished it out in cups and served it. Well, I heard later that was not to be sold, that was for the concession stand workers, but you just don't leave stuff like that sitting around if you want
Especially
to.
around her. She
There you go.
I'm gonna sell
dishing it
it.
out. That's right.
Well, and, you know, like what you're saying, you know, our show, we've tried to take the extra effort. We got, you know, the folks that are parking everyone, that makes it easy to get in, easy to get out. Miss Barbara Parker gets the escorts and the ribbon ladies that are so elegant. We got the Prestons, Terry Preston, David Preston that comes with a carriage and escorts the judges in and escorts some of the
Pageantry,
yeah, some of the key
just
folks.
like the Queen's, whatever, we have the walking horse.
So it you know, we try to make it an event that is special, so a special engagement that will happen in Cannon County, because it's something that's part of our heritage. And
Well, it really is. It's been going on as long as I can remember. How long has it been going on?
it was started back in the early 60s. I think he's worked to the...
I think the 75th anniversary of it was 2 years ago, so we're 76, 77.
So that's
And
a lot
there's some
of years of doing good.
And I'm glad you mentioned, I mean, if it wasn't for the members and volunteers, it wouldn't happen.
And of course, the money that is raised from this, the Lions Club puts that to good use for their charities, right?
Yeah, he's wants you.
That is the main thing that amazes me about the Woodbury Lions Club Horse Show is, I think I counted at one time, there's around 60 different breakdowns where all the money goes from that. So it goes from everything to helping the local sports teams that you see out on weeknights and weekends playing down there at the ball fields, all the way to a multi-million-dollar eye care facility, helping fund that at Vanderbilt with the Lions Vanderbilt Children's Eye Clinic. Of course, we help purchase eyeglasses for adults and children who cannot afford them. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. So we're very proud of that, and that's, you know, the primary reason that we do work so hard to put on an award-winning horse show is because of the things that we are able to do with the money and the help that we're able to put back, not only to the Lions International, but also the vast majority of it, I believe, you know, people would say stays here in the community. So we're
Okay.
very proud of that as well.
I think that's a good thing. And I might remind people too, if they have old glasses and they're in a drawer somewhere and you're not using them anymore, donate them to the Lions Club because these are used.
Yes,
They are
there's
sent to other countries, aren't they?
an optometrist in Tullahoma, I believe he is, who has recently retired. And what he does is they all funnel through to him, and he reworks them, cleans them, does everything. And then as members of Lions clubs from different, you know, from McMinnville, Murfreesboro, wherever, if they have people who are going on mission trips, then what they do is box them up, ship them with them, and from my understanding, they just lay them all out, and the people who need them can go up there and just go through them, and when they find a pair that fits for them, then they just are able to take them on with them. So
Wow.
Your Gerald Molitor has gone to Haiti.
he's going to Haiti. I talked with the lady the last zone meeting I went to, and she was taking a couple of boxes to Guatemala, I believe, with her. And Gerald Molitor also laid his own glasses down to wipe his face one day, I understand. Somebody got his. So, you know, we laugh about that. Hope Jerry was able to see for the rest of the trip. But, you know, that's how needed and how useful your old eyeglasses can be.
Well, see, there's another thing. That's called recycling. And I'll offer that too.
Well, Carolyn, we appreciate the chamber to help support and advertise, promote the farmers market as well as the horse show.
Hey, I'm all about Cannon County. Now, come on, Will.
We need to crowd the people out there, because you're right, there's nowhere better to get country ham sandwich and homemade desserts right there at the horse show in July.
We not
7th.
only need helpers, you know, we'll come up with them, unless there's just, you're needing something to do that night. But you better bring some comfortable shoes for that too. But we need spectators. So anybody out there that wants to see some great horses, that they have them. And I mean, these are the same caliber horses you see at Shelbyville. Some of them are young, some of them are a little older, but
Yeah, a
you
lot
see
of
those
times you'll
horses.
see some of the same horses here, you'll see them celebration, so it's well worth the trip.
yes.
And there's nothing better, I think their admission is $6, and you'll get a world of entertainment for that
It's
$6.
worth $6 to come see the trailers these horses ride in. I mean, they're fine.
They're
Air
better than what I live
conditioned.
in, right?
They're air conditioned, they're fine.
Yep, that's better than what I live in.
Well, the Lions Club does a lot of good work, and I always enjoy Christmas time because I always call it Lions Day when they have the parade, and they have the pancake breakfast with Santa, and then they also have the tour of homes, and that gets bigger every year. But through the year, the Lions Club does a lot of good work in the community. And this is just another one of those. And like I say, they make good money, but it's also distributed to a lot of good causes. So we appreciate
Anybody
both.
out there is interested in becoming a member of the Woodbury Lions Club, just see any current member, and we will guide you in the right direction. We're always looking for new community-minded people who would like to serve.
All right.
Yes. And
Thanks.
and if you're just out of high school and you think that might be something you'd like to do, hey, we can look, you just need to come in.
All right, sounds good.
Talk to
Thanks, Carolyn,
someone.
thank you.
Thank you. Well, Keith, I think we've taken up our hour and maybe a little more than our hour. But we do have some other things that are going in. The Art Center, June 1st through the 16th. Arsenic and Old Lace is being shown on the weekends right now. July 6th through the 21st, Legally Blonde will be showing. And then on Tuesday, July 3rd, now this is about 3 years old that we've been into this, the Cannon County Fireworks Display at Dillon Park. It'll be open to the public at 5:30 p.m. Hot dogs and drinks will be available, but they are limited. So you may want to bring you a picnic lunch. It's very fine. There's no admission charge. Also bring you a lawn chair. There will be activities prior to the fireworks show, and the fireworks will start after dark. And of course, we've had some great sponsors for that because this is something that is costly to put on a fireworks show. I don't mind telling you it is. And Mr. Dale Peterson has gone out of his way to put this together. And this is the third year, and they've had 2 great years. I think it's the third year. 2 great years because people come from other communities to see it. It's a good fireworks show. The people who have helped to sponsor this year, the town of Woodbury, Cannon County Government, Rite Aid, Dollar Market, Middle Tennessee Gas Company, Osborne's Buy Right, the Cannon Courier, and DTC. And then, of course, WBRY gives me the opportunity to advertise this free, so you got to put them in there too. And Keith, is there anything you want to talk about?
Since I've been quiet this whole hour, is that what you're asking? Well, I just want to invite everybody to come out and participate in some of these events. I mean, you know, Cannon County's got some good things happening, and in the future, we've got Cannon County Chamber of Commerce has got some good activities that are coming up. Car show that, did you mention the car show?
No,
You
that'll
didn't mention
be
the
up
car
in
show.
September, but the
Oh, okay.
cruise-ins will be the third
Right.
Saturdays of every month. And the next one for the cruise-ins will be June 16th. And that's for all cars, trucks, motorcycles. You can enjoy music, food, 50-50 drawing. If you want to get out there and dance a jig, you can do that too. And there's a lot of car talk. That's what.
Did you have a lot of car talk this past Saturday?
That was not my show.
Oh, was it not? I was wondering, because I was thinking Carolyn didn't tell me about this.
No, Carolyn didn't
Yeah.
know about that. I'm not sure where that came from.
Oh.
It snuck in on me.
Shame on you.
Well, they said they had a big crowd,
Yes,
and
they
that
did.
was good.
They did
That
have a
was
big
good.
crowd, whoever it was.
So
But,
we's proud. Well, I think it's time that we're going to have to wrap it up, and we want to thank my DTC3 and for everybody that's watching, and we hope to see you in Cannon County.